Question 1. Two gas jars are set up as shown. The lid is removed and the gas jar are left to stand. After some time, the content of both gas jars are brown. Which process caused this to happen? Everyone should participate. So why the two gas jar turned brown? That's because of diffusion. The particles actually they travel from region of higher concentration to lower concentration. So in the beginning we have higher concentration of the particle at the bottom. When we remove the particles spread out, move from higher concentration to lower concentration. That's why it will turn. The other side also turn pale or light brown. Which piece of apparatus is used to measure variable quantity of liquid in titration? Question 2. So question 2C is the right answer. A burette. A pipette measure a fixed quantity. This is not having a marking here. It can also be used, but for a fixed volume. These two are there, B and C, but the accurate one is a burette, which is 0.1 centimeter cube, accurate in measurement of the volume. Question 3. A sample of a green food coloring was separated into its component colors using a paper chromatography. The results obtained are shown. What is the RF value of the blue spot? The RF value of the blue spot. Look, first thing, two answers are completely wrong. Why is C and D are completely wrong? Because the RF value is the distance moved by the solvent, distance moved by the spot over distance moved by the solvent. So RF value cannot be more than 1. So C and D are totally wrong. You're left with A and B. Look, if RF value is 0.9, it means it should be closer to the solvent because it should move. Higher RF value means that it should be, if RF value is like 0.5, it should be at the center. Less than 0.5, it will be below the center. And greater than 0.5, it will be above the center of the, like, even without calculation, you can use a ruler to measure this, but even without calculation, you can use your understanding. Like example, this is a distance moved by the solvent front from the origin. So if I take half of it, example, this is approximately half. So means if RF value is 0.5, so it will be at the center. If RF value is less than 0.5, it will be below the center of this. And if RF value is more than 0.5, it will be above the center. So as you can see, this blue spot, they're asking for blue spot. So blue spot is less than the halfway, a distance moved by baseline to distance moved by the solvent. So it is A. If it was, if a blue spot was here, somewhat here, then it will be 0.9. It is exactly at the center, then 0.5. So you can use a ruler to measure this, or without measurement, it can be done. Just use your understanding that how much distance moved by the solvent front spot compared to the solvent front. So example, if the blue spot was at this point, if blue spot was at this point, then what will be the answer? Then B will be the answer. But right now in the question, the blue spot is less than the halfway of a distance moved by the solvent front. That's why A is the correct answer. Question 4. In which row are substances correctly classified? Element, sulfur is element, water is a compound, and brass is an alloy or a mixture of two or more metals. Which molecule contain only a single covalent bonds? Question 5. Which molecule contain only single covalent bonds? So when you draw chlorine, chlorine belongs to group 7, so it will share 1 electron, so there will be a single bond. When you draw carbon dioxide, carbon belongs to group 4 and oxygen belongs to group 6, so it will share 2 electrons, so there will be a double bond. Nitrogen belongs to group 5, so as it belongs to group 5, it will share 3 electrons. And oxygen belongs to group 6, so it will share 2 electrons. The question is, which molecule contain only a single covalent bond? Single covalent bond is present in A, which is chlorine. So it is about the sharing of electron. If it belongs to group 7, it will share 1 electron, so it can form a single bond, single covalent bond. Which structure represents sodium chloride lattice? Question 6. A sodium chloride lattice. Lattice means sodium chloride is an ionic compound. First thing, A is totally wrong. Why A is totally wrong? Because sodium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. So metal should have a positive charge and the non-metal should have a negative charge. So this is totally wrong. Then D is also wrong. Why D is wrong? Because in D, the structure of the metal positive ion, the lattice, a regular arrangement of the positive ion and the delocalized electron, that is actually a structure of the metal. Now you're left with B or C. But how you will identify whether a positive ion will have a smaller size or the negative ion will have a smaller size? So when I draw a sodium atom, it is having atomic number 11, so means 11 protons are there and 11 electrons. So sodium first shell, like there's a nucleus which is having 11 protons and 12 neutrons. The first shell will have 2 electrons, the second shell will have 8 electrons. But as the sodium is a plus charge, so it will lose one of the electron from the last shell so that it will form a positive ion. So there will be 2 shells in sodium which is positive. And what about chlorine? Chlorine is atomic number is 17 and 35.5, that's the average atomic isotopic mass, average mass of the two isotopes. So it is having 17 protons and it can have 18 neutrons. The first shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons, third shell 7, and one more it take from the surrounding, like from the sodium. 7 belongs to chlorine and 1 it took from sodium, so that will be, so you can see in chloride ion there are 3 shells and in sodium ion there are 2 shells. So it means the positive ion should be smaller in size in the lattice and the negative ion should be larger in size. So what is the right answer? B is the correct answer. Because B and C both are the lattice, but why B is the right answer? Because the positive ion is sodium and sodium is having 2 shells, the positive ion sodium, and chloride ion is having 3 shells. So size of the sodium or the positive ion is smaller as compared to size of the negative ion. Question 7. Question 7. What could be the answer? X and Y are isotopes of same element. Which statement? X and Y have atoms with same number of electron in the outer shell. C is the right answer. Why not A? X and Y have atoms with different number of electron. That's wrong because isotopes have same number of same proton but different neutron. If the protons are same, the electron will also be same. For example, if I draw the two isotopes of hydrogen, so this contain one proton, one electron, no neutron. This contain one proton, one electron, and one neutron. The number of electron and protons are same. The only thing which is different is the neutron number. They don't have the same nucleon number. They don't have the different chemical properties because the number of electrons are same in the outermost shell. That's why they have the similar chemical properties. Which quantity of a chemical will react with no reactant left over? So how you will work out for this one? You have to first write a balance equation. Like when carbon react with oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide. And when magnesium react with oxygen, it will form magnesium oxide. The balance equation, this is the balance equation for magnesium oxide. Now, according to this equation, the mass of carbon is 12 and oxygen is 16. 16 multiplied by 2, that is equals to 32. So means for a complete reaction, 12 gram of carbon required 32 grams of oxygen. But what about magnesium and oxygen? Magnesium is 24 multiplied by 2, that is 48. So if you have 48 grams, how much oxygen is needed? 16 multiplied by 2, that is 32. So for complete reaction, 48 required 32. Or if I further simplify, I can also say, because if I divide by 2, it says that 24 gram required 16 gram. So the question is, which quantities of the chemical will react exactly with no reactant left over? So for this, first we have to write an equation for their reactions and then work out which one is the correct answer, because 48 grams of magnesium required 32 grams of oxygen for a complete reaction. So which one it matches with? 48 32, or if I further simplify, 24 16. So 2416 magnesium. So D is the right answer. Is it clear? Magnesium nitride is formed when magnesium burns in air. Magnesium nitride is ionic compound. What is the formula of magnesium nitride? Question 9. Keep in mind the concept of the valencies. Formula of magnesium nitride. Keep in mind the concept of the valency, like group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Group 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 4 minus 3 minus 2 minus 1 0. Nitrogen belongs to group 5 and magnesium belongs to group 2. The magnesium valency is plus 2 and nitrogen belongs to group 5, so valency is minus 3. So when two valencies are not same, first we simplify and then cross multiply. So it is already simplified and then we cross multiply. So it will become Mg3 and N2. So which one it matches with? It matches with D. So D is the right answer. Question 10. Electrolysis of concentrated hydrochloric acid. Concentrated hydrochloric acid contain hydrogen ion, chloride ion, and it's acid. So acids are aqueous, H and OH ion. So what happened, because it is concentrated, so Cl ion will move towards the anode, and hydrogen, one of the hydrogen, any one of them can move towards cathode. So what is the right answer for question 10? Which statement describe what happened to electrons during electrolysis? At cathode, they have majority of electrons, so the ions will gain electron. And here at anode, they lose electron. So when we show the movement of electron, what is the movement of electron? Electrons are moving from negative terminal of the battery towards the cathode. And electrons are attracted, because the negative ion will lose electrons, so electrons are attracted from anode to the positive terminal of the battery. The question is, which statement describe what happened to electron during electrolysis? They are added to chloride ion. Chloride ions are not taking electron. They are losing electron, because if you have a chloride ion, it will lose electron, change to chlorine atom. When two chloride ions, they will lose two electron and form chlorine gas. They are added to hydrogen ion. That's true, because hydrogen ions attracted towards this cathode and take those electrons and form a hydrogen gas. They move through the circuit from positive to negative. They're not moving from positive to negative. And the last statement, they move through the solution from negative to positive. within the terminal there is no movement of electron from negative terminal to the plate which we called cathode, and from anode towards the positive terminal of the battery. But there is no movement from positive to negative or negative to positive. That's why B is the right answer for this. Question 11. Which reaction does not occur in extraction of aluminium? When we extract aluminium, which of the reaction does not happen or occur? The final answer for question 10 is B. Because the hydrogen ions which are there in the electrolyte, they will take electrons and turn into hydrogen gas. Question 11. Which reaction does not occur Look, aluminium, when you check the reactivity series, it is potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, copper, mercury, silver, gold, platinum. But what happened? The carbon is more reactive than the position of the carbon is between aluminium and zinc. So means carbon is more reactive than these elements. But so when we do extract aluminium, you have a bauxite ore and we do electrolysis of the bauxite ore. So when we do electrolysis of this alumina, so aluminium ions will take three electron change to aluminium atom. That's true. But this cannot happen. Why this cannot happen? Because as you can see, the carbon is less reactive than aluminium, so carbon cannot remove aluminium from its oxide. That's why B cannot happen. C also occur because in aluminium oxide you have oxygen ions. They will lose 4 electrons, they turn into oxygen gas. If it is minus, other side it will be plus. So these equations are same. And due to the high temperature, the oxygen produced reacted with graphite or carbon and formed carbon dioxide. So B is a reaction which does not occur in extraction of aluminium. Question 12. I want participation from everyone. Which substance could not be used as a fuel to heat water in the boiler? Alcohols are combustible. Alcohol can burn. Hydrogen can, because if ethanol is there, ethanol is C2H5 OH. It reacts with oxygen. It forms carbon dioxide and water, and the reaction is exo. Hydrogen react with oxygen. It forms water as well, and the reaction is exo. Methane burn in the presence of oxygen, gives carbon dioxide and water. That's also oxygen is needed. But oxygen is not the fuel. Oxygen is needed for burning of the fuel, but not as a fuel. That's why which substance could not be used as a fuel. We don't use oxygen because oxygen help in burning, but it does not burn itself. It help in burning of the substance. So oxygen help in combustion, but oxygen itself is not the fuel. Question 13. Which row describe an endothermic reaction? Bond breaking energy, bond breaking is endo, bond forming is exo. We want exothermic reaction. And here temperature is refers to the temperature of the surrounding. Question 13. So for question 13, bond breaking is endo, so energy taken in is more, energy released should be less. And what happened to temperature of the surrounding? The temperature of the surrounding will decrease. Question 14. The reaction is reversible and delta H negative means it is an exothermic reaction. Which statement about an equilibrium mixture is correct? Here we have 2 moles of a gas and here we have 1 mole of a gas. Question 14. What could be the right answer? And keep one thing in mind, if forward reaction is exo, the backward reaction will be endo. Now if we check the statements, if the pressure is decreased, look, if we increase the pressure, equilibrium shift towards side where number of moles are less. So if we increase the pressure, the equilibrium will always shift towards side where number of moles are less. And if we decrease pressure, equilibrium will shift towards side opposite where number of moles are more. So if the pressure is decreased, if we decrease the pressure, equilibrium will shift towards side where number of moles are more. So it will shift towards the backward side. So amount of NO2 will increase, but that's written N2O4 increase, that's wrong. If temperature is increased, the amount of N2O4 increase, that's wrong because the forward reaction is exothermic. If we increase the temperature for exothermic reactions, if we increase the temperature, equilibrium will shift towards left hand side for exo. So that's also wrong because N2O4 is a reactant, not it's a product, not the reactant. The rate of formation and decomposition are not same. If something is in equilibrium, then rate of formation and decomposition will be same. And the decomposition of N2O4 is endothermic. That's true because if forward is exo, the reverse will be endo. So D is the right answer for this. Question 15. Which statement about the catalyst in a chemical reaction is not correct? Catalysts are not used up. That's true. Catalysts increase the rate of reaction. That's also true. They lower the activation energy. That's also true. They don't change the energy of the particle. They make it lower activation energy. So they're not changing the energy of the particle, but the energy at which the reaction start, they lower that so the particle can undergo a chemical reaction. So B is the right statement. Question 16. In question 14, why? Because in the question they say which of the statement is correct, and they say rate of formation and decomposition are not same. That's wrong because it is in equilibrium. So if it is in equilibrium, then the rate of decomposition and the rate of formation should be same. Because the term equilibrium means that the rate of the forward reaction and the rate of the backward reaction are same. Question 16. So when you check, it's better you write the oxidation numbers. So +2, -2, 0, +2, -2. And when you check for this one, when two non-metals are there, the first non-metal will have a positive oxidation number and the second non-metal will have a or negative oxidation number. But when you check this, they're saying which statement about reaction 1 and 2 is not correct. In reaction 1, the oxidation state of a sulfur increased and it is oxidized. That's true because sulfur is not having oxygen and now it is having oxygen. And what will be the oxidation number of a sulfur? When two non-metals are there, the non-metal on the right hand side will have a negative oxidation number and the non-metal on the left hand side will have a positive oxidation number. And how you know which will be the positive oxidation number? These are the oxidation numbers: 1, 2, 3, group 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Group 1 is +1, +2, +3. It can be +4 or -4, +5 or -3, +6, the oxidation number, or -2, +7 or -1, and then 0. So in sulfur dioxide, both belongs to group 6. The non-metal on the left hand side will have a positive oxidation number and the non-metal on the right hand side will have a negative oxidation number. So when you check this, in the reaction 1, oxidation state of a sulfur increase. That's true because here when you check, zinc is +2, sulfur is -2. So from -2, a sulfur become +6. So -2 become +6, it means the oxidation number increase. That statement is true. In reaction 1, oxidation number of zinc increases. Oxidation number of zinc does not change at all. How you work out? Because zinc is +2 before and the reaction and +2 after the reaction. So there is no change in oxidation number of a zinc. That's why B is not the right statement. In reaction 2, the carbon act as a reducing agent. That's true because what happened? Zinc is reduced, oxygen is removed, so carbon is acting like a reducing agent and by itself it is oxidized. And in reaction 2, the oxidation state of zinc decreases. That's also true because if it is +2, -2, so this will be 0, +2 becomes 0, that is a decrease. So B is not the correct statement. Why does the sulfur become +6 when two non-metals are there? Then the rule of writing the oxidation number for the two non-metals. Zinc is +2. Look, zinc sulfide. Zinc is a metal +2. Sulfur belongs to group 6, so -2. Oxygen is 0. Zinc oxide. Zinc is a metal, so +2. And oxygen is group 6, so -2. What about sulfur dioxide? When two non-metals are there, how to write an oxidation number of the two non-metals? Both belongs to group 6. So for non, it can have oxidation number +6 or -2. So the element which is on the right hand side, the non-metal which is on the right hand side will have a negative oxidation state and the non-metal on the left hand side will have a positive oxidation state. Why sulfur is positive here? Because when we compare the tendency of the two non-metals, oxygen is having a greater tendency to take electron compared to sulfur. That is why the oxidation number on the sulfur will appear as +6. That it is having a tendency compared to oxygen, it is having a tendency to lose electron. So sulfur here, sulfur is +6 and oxygen is -2. So when you check, sulfur was -2, it become +6. So if -2 become +6, the question is which is not correct. So in reaction 1, the oxidation state of zinc increase, but in reaction 1, oxidation state of zinc does not change. Zinc is +2 before and zinc is +2 after. So there is no change in oxidation number of zinc. That is why statement B is not the right one. The diagram shows energy level diagram of a reaction. What could be the answer for this? The increase increase the temperature, increase the rate of reaction. A reason is that the which word correctly completed gap 1 and gap 2? First thing, reactant have more energy, product is having less energy, so reaction is exothermic. And when we increase the temperature, we increase the rate of the collision. Particle will collide often. Why it is an exothermic reaction? Because reactant have high energy and the product is having low energy. So compare energies. So this is the energy diagram for exothermic reaction. And rate of reaction, even exo or endo, rate increases with the temperature. Yield decreases if the reaction is reversible. For exothermic, yield decrease. For endothermic, yield increase. Question 18. Concentrated hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. What is meant by the term strong acid? There is a term strong and then acid. So strong means fully ionized, and acids are proton donors. It donate proton. That's why D is a. Acids are proton donors and bases are proton acceptor. That is the definition of acid. Donate. And meaning strong means fully ionized. Which oxide is amphoteric? Amphoteric oxides can react with both acid and alkali. So calcium oxide is a metal oxide, basic oxide, carbon monoxide is a neutral, and sodium oxide is a metal oxide. The last question, question 20. A salt is made by adding an excess of insoluble metal oxide to acid. How is excess of metal oxide removed from the mixture? The excess of metal oxide, which is solid, can be removed by filtration. Not by crystallization. We want the excess of metal oxide, not the salt. The excess of metal oxide which we added, the unreacted metal oxide, so we'll filter it out to remove that. So these are the first 20 questions related to February March 2016, paper 2, variant 2.